Hello, our friends.
Hi, hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. And this was our video exclusive over on Patreon. Operation Stargate AI Takeover is here. Will we go the way of Nibiru? Are you guys familiar with that Nibiru place?
A little bit.
Well, think Mars on steroids. Yeah, interesting stuff going on as the world says, God, Baron's big. Is he not a giant? People saying, well, return of the Nephilim, return of the Anunnaki. What is happening here? Who really is Baron? I tell you, so many people have pointed to Baron and said, it's not his dad. It's him. It's him. He's the one that we all need to be wondering, sky's the limit?
Baron has a very unique makeup when it comes to energy. Some people can't even read his energy. So he's had some very interesting things done with his human body that make him very different.
I did you ever do his Vedic astrology chart?
I don't think so.
No, that's something we should look into. We really should. We'll see if we could get the time of birth there. Interstellar visitor may have changed the course of the 4 solar system giant planets, so says this study. An object 8 times the mass of Jupiter? That's enormous. May have swooped in around the sun, coming super close to Mars' present-day orbit before shoving 4 of the system's planets onto different courses. In other words, if you have ever read the Sumerian tales of Nibiru, this is kind of giving you there might be something to it.
That's right.
Absolutely. This is what I keep saying. It's all in the mythology. The myths are much closer to reality than most people realize. Nibiru is much, much larger than Earth. I know a lot of people think of it in terms of being a threat to come on in and to cause all sorts of havoc. Again, all Zecharia Sitchin's works. I probably did read every single book that Sitchin did end up writing. But I've also read a ton of others and other people that have translated the Sumerian writings. And, I don't think he had it 100% right for what we've gotten from our guides. No, not exactly accurate. But we do get that Nibiru is outside of the orbit of Uranus, and Neptune at this point in time and will not be allowed to come any closer. Again, Nibiru is more of a gigantic mothership than a planet anymore, really. The planet itself is kind of on life support. Think Mars, but much, much worse than Mars. And yet it is loaded with life. There are many life forms on Nibiru, many different races, many different beings. And they all take their cue. They all take their orders from AI.
Well, that's what I got when I went to look at the surface and see, how exactly do people function with their mind and their body. And really, there is no actual connection with themselves. The actual connection is with AI. So that's where they take their orders from. And I seem to be throughout. I mean, there might be little pockets here and there where some of them don't do that. But the majority, it is driven via AI. So it's one of those things that it's not very pretty. It's hard to look at, but yet it's still there. I mean, life is still going on, but there's no connection with the self.
No, it's a hive mind, a collective. It's an AI collective. Everybody is attached, to their version of the internet, so to speak. But everything that we see in place and coming to fruition on Earth is really a replication of what's going on that planet. And that's the thing that people have to be aware of as we see another massive fire breaking out near Santa Clarita, California. So this is north of Los Angeles. As you can see, this over 1,000 acres. I mean, this just boom, exploded. And then also down south in I-15 in San Diego area, they say that I-15 is closed. So again, it seems that the wildfire situation hasn't really changed. Again, where the new one popped up is up here, and then the other area we're talking about is, all the way down heading towards San Diego. Now remember too, going all the way back up towards San Francisco, we also, as you see, this is a map of the Hughes fire, which is now over 1,000 acres burning. That California lithium battery plant fire, which produces 70% of the greens in the United States, greens, again, salad greens, etc., is still going on. And residents have nosebleeds, lungs burning, headaches, rashes, metallic mouth tastes. Health officials says not testing soil because we don't necessarily know what we're looking for. Well, I'll tell you, soil all around the entire country here in the U.S., because of all the spraying of aluminum and barium, has been found to have high degrees of heavy metal toxicity, which is going to threaten crops, and especially organic crops. It's also going to overload so many systems as far as people's immune systems and other things too. And we also have heavy snow and high winds shut down Pensacola Bay and the Pensacola Bay Bridge. This is in Florida. When do you hear about I-10 in Florida being shut down here, having issues because of snow? Well, it's right now, this is what we have. We have crazy, crazy weather ongoing. Some areas, Alabama, over half a foot of snow. New Orleans, half a foot of snow. All the way from, again, Florida to Texas. It was a wild storm. Here you have President Trump's Department of Homeland Security just fired the entire advisory committee, citing misuse of resources. Biden's DHS funneled billions into the immigration issue. Yeah, it's just wild to watch how fast things are rapidly changing here. Trump admits love for Russian people. Well, we should all love each other and get along. Wouldn't that be nice? Can you imagine if that could actually work? Just like John Lennon's Imagine, right? You ever really listen and look at the lyrics to Imagine? It's quite a song in reality, and it really does point out the system for what it is. I wonder how long it was after he wrote that he was, well, he met his end in this life.
Yeah, that's sad.
When you know the big picture and you speak about it openly, then the real dark powers in the shadows sometimes will take action. So the U.S. president has urged Moscow to end the Ukrainian conflict the easy way, otherwise more sanctions will be coming. He said, "We must never forget that Russia helped us win the Second World War, losing almost 60 million lives in the process," which, that number was not really accurate according to the history. But they did lose the most lives of anybody in World War II. Meanwhile, he has signed a sweeping executive order on the death penalty, directing the Attorney General to take all necessary and lawful action to ensure states have enough lethal injection drugs to carry out executions. Well, I certainly hope they never do that thing where they do that, anything like this with that preemptive, thought crime thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I don't like the feel of it.
I don't either. Sacco and Vanzetti, for those of you that know your history, two immigrants that were accused of murder, and they were executed. Excuse me, as I'm losing my voice here. And then they were found out to be innocent after that fact, so you can't really resurrect them, so it's kind of scary. This is a little good news.
Out that I was actually going to be able to get an apartment. I was just like relieved. And it didn't really hit in until I walked in here and saw a kitchen table and a bed, and I was like, oh my God, you guys got me cups. I mean, it just had just enough to where I could bring in my own things. And then I started crying when I saw the bed because it's just very comforting. I'm like, oh, I get to stay here for a little while. So that was nice. And then we did hugs with the FEMA guys and Gordon, who helped me get in here. And then the dogs somehow knew that this was where we were going to be for a minute and had a band of a time. And I just sat in here and was just like, yeah, I'm okay.
Well, that's some good news. And again, when we look at the bigger picture, even if it is good cop, bad cop, I think we all want to get the good cop, right?
Yeah, I think we do, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we just watch carefully. We really watch carefully, every little thing. Well, how about this? Now the egg again. The infamous egg. They say that these markings are hieroglyphics or some sort of hieroglyphic. That's curious, absolutely. Again, I think a lot of people are disappointed in this, but the alleged egg UFO that's leaked by an anonymous 4chan whistleblower has some sort of, they're saying, hieroglyphics on it. Very curious. Now, also allegedly recovered from a cave in Antarctica in Queen Elizabeth's Range in 2022. Oh, there's a lot of things in Antarctica, that would raise eyebrows. Let's listen to Elon.
A lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I think with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You can basically do it. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence.
Yeah, keep in mind what we were talking about with Nibiru. Meanwhile, this is a clip from a farmer in County Mayo in Ireland. Cows leaping from a boat to go get a swim, to go do some grazing. Those guys are enjoying themselves.
That looks pretty nice there. I wonder if it's warm, though. I don't know if the water's really warm.
I don't think the water's ever warm in Ireland, no. The North Atlantic, nah, not so warm. And there's always one that speaks out. There's always one that's got a little edge to him. Let's see if I turn this on. There's always one in the bunch.
Indeed.
As always, guys, come and join us over on Patreon. Exclusives each week. Source bless. Namaste.
Namaste.